Alright guys, so I'm doing a new style video. This week we have a really interesting guest, Erik Bernal, and he's a local, designer. But yeah, this is kind of a different episode compared to the rest. It's, shot in it wasn't shot in the LWH studios. So we had to go somewhere public and, conduct an interview. But I think it's, very interesting what he had to say. And yeah, definitely I'll put all of his links down below. I'm currently editing him right now, so that's why, a little late at night, as you can see. But yeah, very interesting conversation. I hope you guys enjoy. And yeah, show him a lot of support. So, Erik, where are you exactly from? Did you grow up here in Denver, California? Because I don't know. I see on your stories that sometimes you go back to Cali or something like that, or no?
Yeah, well, I really like to go down there to Cali.
Okay.
I feel like it's where I belong, honestly. But yeah, I was born out here in Denver, Colorado.
In Montbello?
In Denver.
In Denver.
Yeah.
Because, I'll get into that story here, how I first found out about you.
Okay.
But so where did you go to high school? Because I know you're pretty young, right?
Yeah, I'm 20 years old right now.
Jeez.
So, yeah, I graduated in 2020, and I went to two high schools.
Okay.
I went to East High School. It's over there by downtown in Colfax. You know where that's at?
Yeah.
That big castle school.
Yeah, it's off of Colfax.
Yeah, everyone passes by there. And then
I think it was one of the oldest high schools in Denver. Don't quote me on it,
so.
but
I think so. Yeah. But yeah, I went there for 2 years, and then we had moved to Montbello. I grew up in Park Hill. So
okay.
It was the closest one to me. And then, yeah, I actually wasn't even supposed to go to East. I was supposed to go to Bruce Randolph, and then somehow they didn't really register me the right way, so I didn't end up going there. And
I have a lot of friends. Well, I know a lot of good places over there by Bruce Randolph, and I have a good friend of me that he lives in the east side of Denver, basically. But now it's turning into Rhino and all that gentrification bullshit.
Yeah, it's definitely changed a lot throughout the years. Really quick, honestly, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In the last 10, 15 years.
Right, yeah. Yeah, you could definitely see the drastic change.
So then what about the second high school? You said you went to East and then...
Yeah, and then... from there, we went all the way to Montbello, so I had to change schools. I only lasted like 2 weeks staying at East, but it was just too much, too far. Because I had all my friends over there and stuff. So. And then we went down there I went to Green Valley, a school called Vista Academy. Have you heard of that? It's right next to DSST Green Valley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's right there where there's like a lot of schools right there in that on Gateway. Yeah.
Okay, so then you went there.
Yeah, so I went there for 2 years for junior and senior. So I finished off there.
Okay. All right, yeah. So we're the same age. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I thought you would have been, older than me.
I get that a lot, honestly. Everyone always tells me, dude, you look so much older, or they try to make sure what age I am, since all my friends kind of look younger than me, but they're all my age as well. But yeah, I get that a lot.
So then, how was COVID year for you? And did you go to college or anything like that, or
No.
Okay.
I actually had a really tough year in senior year, so I just knew off bat I wasn't able to focus
and do online school, because that's all it was.
Exactly.
Like, basically from March of that's your senior year of our senior year. Basically.
Exactly.
We went online.
Yeah, no, honestly, it was pretty difficult. Like, it was a pretty drastic change. I feel like not just for me, but for all of us. So I feel like not even just the students were kind of going through it, but also the teachers, the parents, and everyone. So
everything was up in the air.
Yeah, I could say in the beginning of the pandemic, it was just, you had to adapt to just staying at home and seeing the same people every day, not going out,
And were you working while that senior year? Like, did you have another job besides your brand?
I've been working since I was 15 with my dad, doing like side gigs with him and doing labor jobs. So I've always worked. But the pandemic year, my high school junior and senior were the years where I always had like these ideas of just creating something and creating a brand or like making a name for myself. You know? It sounded really delusional.
We'll get into that. So this is just us getting to know each other.
Yeah.
But so you grew up in Park Hill basically, and then you went to Montbello for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And now where are you staring at? General area?
Right now, so after Montbello, after graduating, we came back actually to the area where I grew up at.
Okay.
So near Park Hill and Stapleton area.
Okay.
So I was living there for like 2 years, and then I've been in my own apartment for 3 months now. So
hey, me too. I've been
Bro, good shit.
since what is it? June? No.
Okay.
So a little bit longer actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a good feeling.
How do you like it, bro? Like,
oh, I'm loving it. I have one other roommate. So thankfully I got a scholarship that's able to pay my schooling and my living.
Okay. So you're still in school?
I'm still in school.
Okay.
Yep. I got one more year left, a year and a half basically.
All right. I see.
Right. So yeah, no, it feels amazing, you know, being able to wake up and just be like, okay.
Yeah, for sure. No,
I have stuff to do, but I love what I got to do, you know?
Yeah.
Because there's no one telling me exactly what I have to do.
Yeah.
But, okay, so I want to tell the story first for everyone listening or potentially that will listen, how I was first introduced to your brand.
I'm interested in hearing that.
I was scrolling on Facebook, and you know Vero?
Vero, yeah.
Veronica.
Yeah, she looks
I don't know her
lovely
last
too.
name. I keep saying it's Veronica Garcia, but
I think it's Garcia.
That's what I keep saying, but I'm not sure. So she listens to this.
Yeah.
You know, sorry, I butchered her last name. But so
shout out, Vero.
I think what happened was she shouted you out. You had just dropped, I think it was these tees, these ones. No, it wasn't these ones. It was some other shirt. I forget which drop.
I don't know what it was.
And so I clicked on your page, on your Facebook page, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then I went to your website, and then I saw your Montbello Crown T-shirt, your Crown Market T-shirt. Yeah. And I have this one good friend of mine. He's from Montbello, and he reps Montbello like no one's business. Yeah. It's like, you know, he's super proud of his
bell side shit.
of the bellows, he calls it, right?
Yeah.
So I took a screenshot of that picture, and I was like, yo, these shirts are sick as fuck. Pick one up. And he's like, all right, bet. I don't know if he did.
Yeah.
But from there, I was scrolling the shirt, and I was scrolling all your stuff, and I was like, oh, this green one, the one that I'm wearing right now, this green one's pretty sick.
Appreciate it. I noticed that as soon as I walked in.
And I ordered it, and I was like, hell yeah, this is like one of my first shirts that I get to own from someone that I knew that actually made it. Yeah. And after ordering this shirt and actually getting it, I was like, yo, you know what? I actually like supporting, you know, these smaller brands and because I know who made it and I know who the money's going to, you know? And ever since then, I've bought, you know, some shirts from other people that I've done podcasts with. A good friend of mine, he has like a coaching, he's a fitness coach.
Okay.
And he made some shirts, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to get one on the quicks. I don't care.
Yeah.
And yeah, I get it. Sometimes, you know, you guys are going to charge more than a T-shirt from freaking H&M or Zara for $5 to $10.
Right, yeah.
But I know the work and you know, the struggle that you guys put in. I was like, it's worth it. You know, every time I wear it, I'm proud to wear it. You know, like, and I get so many compliments when I wear this shirt. They're like, oh, this brand is, you know, or this design is really nice. And I'm like, hell yeah, I like wearing it now. And that's the whole story of how I got it from Beto to you. And then from there, I branched out to, you know, getting to know all these different, you know, designers here in Colorado, which it's a whole new world for me.
Yeah, no, it's great. That's great. That's how I meet my connections as well. You know, I feel like it's a chain of creators and people who want to, you know, do things different. It could be with clothing, with content. You know, you just never know what people want to put their minds into. So
and where they're passionate.
Yeah,
because that's really what it is. Once you see the passion that people have for things, and you're like, yo, that guy's awesome. That thing's sick.
But no, about that with you saying how you see the vision behind the work, and I think that's actually really important as a, you know, a consumer or a supporter, to realize that when someone is doing something out of pocket, you know, you go through this as well. You have your own podcast. You bought, you know, these tools that we're using and stuff, which is really dope. People don't see the work that you are putting in, or like how much it takes you to edit a video, you know. Same with me with clothing, how much I measure everything. I researched a whole lot of stuff way before I even started doing it. So, people see what is posted and the finished process and how you want it to look, but people don't really see the days where you stayed up and.
Exactly. That's the big part. So, that struggle.
Yeah.
So
that's
your elevator pitch. If I were to meet you in the elevator, right? What exactly do you do for all the listeners out there? What is it that you do? What is the service that you provide?
Well, first of all, I like to create art in all different ways. That's the way I express myself, is through my clothing. I first started styling myself. I would like to go thrifting and collect different pieces, different colors, add-ons that you can add to your clothing and accessorize, layer your outfits and stuff. So that's how I started, and then it just fell down into the same thing, but...
So then the story of Good Conscience, right? That's your brand, right?
Yeah. And
how exactly did that start? Like, do you have an exact, moment where you were like, you know what? When I bought my first machine, or, what is the story behind
so I actually created Good Conscious when I was in a very bad place.
Okay.
So that's, I think, a crazy story that I always like to bring up, because things weren't very good when I created Good Conscious, but I had the vision of the kind of lifestyle and life and the message that I wanted to bring along with the name. And, and so how I was saying earlier, I had a very crazy senior year. I lost my best friend, lost some family members. I just had we were moving. It was just some issues in our family. It was always just something. And then I think we just pushed.
When was this? When did
it was
Good Conscious start?
When it was COVID.
Oh, okay. So 2020 it started.
Yeah, 2020, 2021 was when I first started my brand. So around March 2021.
And I'm guessing there was, previous practice and experience that you had before that, but it wasn't anything official, right?
No, it was never anything. I've always painted on my clothes.
Okay.
And, just doodled around, cut stuff, added pins or whatever you could to your clothing, to make it look a little bit different than what's already out there.
Customized, basically.
Just customized, like a one-of-one. I always loved stuff like that. And I also just started doing clothes because I just never found anything that I liked at the store. Like, I hated going to shopping, and I would never come out with something. And when I did, it would just never be something that I was satisfied with,
Okay.
But that's when I started styling myself, creating my own stuff, and, actually feeling good without it. And that's how I came about expressing myself with clothing. And, that expanded into me thinking positive and having a positive mindset to create something and executing it in a good way, being patient and studying, taking the time for it, putting your effort and you're all into it, So like you said, a passion.
So would you say that the discipline is what kind of brought you out of that bad, headspace to, continue creating, because you were like, I know other things are going on, I have some, family members, X, Y, and Z is going on out in real life. But if I can really focus on...
Yeah, it was my form of escape, to be honest. And I always... Still, I'm not very content with my life right now, but I can say that I do different things to help myself out. Since... But yeah, when I get like closed off or depressed and stuff like that, that's when I get most creative. And I always have to dig myself out of that hole. I don't like to talk to anyone about my issues or problems and stuff. So it's always just me. But yeah, that discipline and, having to wake up every day and try to feel excited for things, and you actually getting to the point where you're actually so excited and every day you're learning more and you want to do more, I think it's beautiful. It's a journey, and that's what keeps me going. I've had a lot of people around me who've came out with brands or like want to try stuff out, and a lot of people give up before they even start. And I think one of the things that I take pride in is I've done this for a little bit over a year now, and the success has been great for me. I've learned so much things, met so many great people, not just here in the city, but in other places, LA, Miami, Texas, you just never know where your word is going to end up at, And I always say I want to get paid to think, you know, to express myself and to say something, no matter what it is. But for right now, I think it's clothing for sure. That's where I'm enjoying myself.
Hell yeah, that's freaking awesome. So speaking in terms of your clothes and all the you know, of your brand.
Yeah.
What is the brand kind of speak to? Who are the type of people it speaks to? Would you say, or who would you want it to?
Right, like the audience, my target audience. Yeah, when I first started, I wanted to go for a specific type of person. Like I don't even know what my specific type of person was, you know, but I created just like a very like a person that's confident and that knows what they're doing, that knows what they want in life and stuff like that, you know. But now I really just want everyone to relate to me, you know, because I feel like I feel all sorts of emotions and everyone does, you know. We're human and we all can learn from each other. So I feel like I want to be able to express myself to everyone and for everyone to take something from me and put it into their lives, or say, oh, like, you know, I can relate to them, or they've been through something that I can take from, you know. So you just, I don't know, it's just.
So from what you're saying right now, what it sounds like is like what you're saying, that it's not really for a set person, it's more of you expressing yourself, and people will kind of hop on and say, oh, well, this is a great way of. Whoever
honestly relates to it.
Yeah.
You know, just like with you, I feel like I never know where it's going to end up. And that is my goal, is to, for my clothing to be all over ads, you know, on all types of platforms and social medias, and for it to reach whoever connects to it. You know, if the clothing has a saying that they relate to, or that they can, you know, live by, and they want to, you know, buy that, then, you know, good. But you just never know. But I don't really have a target audience. I really just like to go for everything.
And I think that's beautiful, and I can even relate to that as well, because for me, on my end, on what I'm trying to create, is just like, I'm really just practicing.
Yeah.
I really just want to put in the work now, just so that way I know all these different types of things, so that way when I do publish it, it's like, yeah, that's just something I do, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like I'm over here trying to get views or anything like that.
Knowing you're proud of it.
Yeah.
And you know that you did it all, and you were fully there and focused.
Exactly.
And you did it with, you know,
like I never would have expected to meet you, you know, if I wouldn't have done this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I feel like, you know, it's so funny that all it takes is just reaching out. Because I feel like when you did that, I definitely picked up on that, and I even forgot to do that in my own life, you know, reach out to people, and if you want to work with them, you know, do stuff. So I definitely am going to reach out to other people that I want to work with. So just for you doing that, you know, you passed that on to me, so that's cool.
And I've learned, you know, for these, because I've been doing this for 3 months now, and I can't even begin to comprehend a lot of this stuff. Is like, oh crap, this is a lot of stuff that I'm learning, you know, that I'm not getting from a textbook or anything like that.
Yeah, you're just going with it.
I just keep going with it.
Well, I have a question for you. Like, when you first started, were you nervous to ask questions? Or, like, did you know what to ask and stuff like that?
Oh,
like,
you can see it, like, with one of my first guests. I had to prepare, like, questions. Like, even today, I prepared questions. And it's like I always do. But I'm not asking them now, you know, verbatim as how I wrote them.
Yeah.
But with that one, I was like, what if we stop talking?
Yeah.
You know, what if there's
like
awkward moments?
Yeah.
And I had to prepare so much. Like, I literally, like you said, I spent the whole day, you know, thinking about what I'm going to say and, you know, how I'm going to break up the segments and stuff like that. So it was like this over preparing, like, for days and days, and kind of this anxiety. But as soon as it happened, it was like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, honestly,
the pressure's gone.
I'm feeling right now. I feel like I'm kind of getting more comfortable just sitting here. But I was definitely nervous before coming in, at least through the door.
And that's what I hear about a lot of people. That's why I give the opportunity to say, you know what, let's kind of slow the conversation down and kind of move it away from something of what it actually is, right?
Right.
And then kind of bring it back into actually the questions that I wanted to ask.
Yeah, right.
So, bring it back to your beginning. What was the hardest thing, do you think, that you had to, you know, that you had to overcome.
Yeah.
From you starting, it either be a specific skill, because from what I'm guessing, Good Conscience does mainly as of right now is embroidery, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I actually stumbled through a lot of things when I first started embroidery. I feel like it was only hard because no one around me was doing that. And I felt like I couldn't really go to anyone and ask any questions. I couldn't really, ask someone to teach me something and stuff like that. And even when I go online and stuff, there wasn't really a lot of videos to what I was doing. And if there was videos, I would have to pay money to, download a course or stuff like that. So I feel like what I really stumbled on was just kind of just figuring out my own way of working with what I do and what
Messing
I have.
up?
Yeah, like failing. And I live by that. I love failing. Like if I can repeat it over and over and over to perfect it and get it right, I will do it. Like I do that all the time. So I feel like the most stumbles were probably just the simplest stuff, like measuring where to place the logo or how to thread the machine right,
and
so
I know a little bit about fashion, okay, a little bit. So do you basically deconstruct the whole piece and make it into patterns and then put it back together, or do you have the shirt itself and then you kind of just place the logo and then from there, is that how you work?
Yeah, that's the second option. I go by blanks.
Okay.
Yeah, so as of now, I have blanks and I just put my designs on there. And the designs I do make, there will be times where I'll just like pick up a design that I find online and I'll like digitize it and create it into an embroidery. But most of the time I like to just create my own.
So then from design to embroidery, how does that work? Does it go from,
it's
a design in your
process.
like a Illustrator file in your computer into some other type of file to the embroidery machine?
Yeah, it could be anything. Like when I did the Crown Market shirt we were just talking about, I simply just snapped a picture of the gas station sign, the billboard or whatever is in front of there. I snapped a picture of it and it was then digitized into an embroidery patch. So it was able to go into a USB memory for the machine. So it could be any design. You just got to digitize it and make sure you're getting everything right. And
so, do you know the specifics of what digitizing actually means? Like, of what does that mean? Because obviously,
it's become creating the format into like picture into like a way that the machine can pick up thread stitching. Yeah. So, and I have a whole like person behind that as well. So I have someone who takes care of that and I don't have to deal with it.
Because it seems like it's, I don't know. It seems like it's coding or something like that. Because you're telling basically a machine to tell specific colors, specific movements, patterns, and kind of threads
and layers
and
colors,
layers as well.
Everything, yeah.
So so you found someone to help you out.
Exactly, yeah. At first I started by myself, working with what I had, but it was just taking too much of my time. And sometimes when you do something and there's so much to do in that one thing, you kind of get like unmotivated or uninspired. You're like, fuck, this is taking forever and stuff like that. But
and then it takes the fun out of it, right?
Exactly. And you never want to lose the fun to what you love, and then it becomes a job. So I just found someone to do it for me, and I've been doing that since then, and it works good for me.
Would you ever consider, maybe learning from that person to say, you know what, now I can essentially have control over it?
Yeah, definitely. Right? Yeah, I'm doing that. Yeah, I always have tried to do everything my own self, whether if it's creating my own website, designing, actually making the clothes, researching the manufacturers, everything. So that's one thing that I don't do, so I definitely want to learn on it so I could catch on. No, and then I could teach other people, so then I don't really have to do it, or even pay to do it. So. Yeah.
And speaking back to the solitude that you're talking about, when you first started kind of messing around, fiddling around with clothes and kind of cutting early stages,
did you ever tell your parents? Did you ever tell friends? Or was it just something that you kind of did? Because I know it's different. I know it's different in my aspect where I'm making videos and I'm making podcasts. Yeah. I can kind of keep this private life away from, all my friends and kind of, essentially say, I don't have to tell anybody. Right. But with you, did you ever kind of not wear the clothes that you made, or were you always just like, no, I'm going to be...
No, I've always repped my brand.
Repped your stuff
always,
and all
every day that I can.
Creative stuff.
Yeah, whenever I can. To my friends, to random people I meet every day. I'm like, oh, well, I make clothes, That'll be like my introduction to who I am and stuff.
Yeah.
No, I've always repped my brand, and I've always told my parents about it. Even if, people aren't always going to be supportive, but I've never been the type to even... When I express myself, I feel like I'm just expressing it. I don't really expect any opinions or any advice or anything. So when people don't agree with me or they're not really into what I'm doing, I really don't care, because I already know that I'm confident.
You don't need their validation.
Exactly. I don't need validation. So I'm content with what I put out.
Okay.
Honestly. Yeah.
So when that conversation came that, you said, oh, I'm going to start a brand, and I started selling clothes, and I'm, starting to break more than even.
Yeah.
How did that conversation go with parents? Because it's, you're Hispanic, right? So that traditional 9 to 5, or even like go to school, or, I'll support you if you go to school, but if you do something else, well, you're on your own.
Honestly, my goal was always finishing at least high school. I always knew I was going to take at least a gap year or figure this shit out on my own, because I just knew school wasn't for me. But when I was in school, I wasn't dumb or like, I wasn't the kid that didn't know what I was doing. I simply just wasn't there, or I couldn't focus when I was. And so that took a different route, and it didn't stop my life or anything. I was just focusing on other things that actually I wanted to involve my life around. So, sorry, what was the question again? I kind of just went from...
Yeah, so it was just... how did that conversation go when you had, with your parents? You started to break more than even. Was it, they were like, oh, well, you know what? Now you're on your own. You're out of college, or you're out of high school?
My parents have always been supportive of me, and they've never been the type to like try and kick me out or anything. And even when I moved out of my parents' house a couple months ago, they really didn't want me to move, and they actually just wanted me to stay there. And they're pretty worried, but I feel like I've always taken a risk, and the conversation, I feel like I've had it really young with them. So I first started doing my own thing when I was 17.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like 16, 17. Me and my dad worked for gardening and maintenance for like 5 years together.
Oh, okay.
And so after that, I had already known so much knowledge, and I was learning a lot from my boss and stuff. So,
so were you guys subcontractors for a bigger company?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was me, my dad, and then my mom ended up coming some days when she wanted to and stuff like that. And then one day I was just like, I was young, bro. I don't know what I was thinking, but I was like, you know what? I'm quitting. Like, I want to just do my own thing. I didn't know what I was gonna do. My clothing wasn't even thought of back then. And so since gardening was what we knew, I told my dad, I was like, let's just start our own gardening service, like maintenance. We'll buy a trailer, we'll have the tools, we already know what to do and stuff, so we'll just get our own customers. And so we did that. I did that for one summer, and it didn't really work the way I thought. But I didn't give up on that. I just let it off for a couple of time, probably like a year. And so this summer we actually did our own company.
And I was seeing on your stories that you were posting, some pictures of the finished product.
Yeah, so I was just doing that. But no, I've always had the mindset of having my own, like not having my own business. Well, I've had them already. I think the conversation has always been like, I just don't want to work for anyone else, and I want to help my parents also have their own stuff. Unfortunately, my parents weren't very careful with their money since they were here, so I'm learning how to manage still, and not trying to fall into those same steps, of causing that same mistake. But Yeah, the conversation has always been there.
Yeah, it's always
you've always been supportive.
You've always been the independent. Like, you know what, this is gonna be me. I have my money. I'm gonna spend it on what I want.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I feel like it was more scary with the clothing though, because they didn't know what I was doing. You know, I had the idea.
Yeah.
But I was just talking about it.
Yeah, yeah.
So until I bought my machine and everything, and I bought all the tools, then it kind of clicked to them that it was getting serious. But before that, it was just.
And how did it feel when you first made that first investment, that first purchase, where you're like, here's the machine, here's X, Y, and Z tools that I'm gonna need and use?
It felt really good.
Yeah,
it really did, because I had worked for 8 months straight, from 6 to 6, 12-hour shifts every day, every week for months. And then when I bought my machine, I had quit my job as well.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Like, I completely changed my life. And
so it was
I
like
worked 9 to 5 since then.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, that's
So
the type of,
like, a year and a half now. Yeah.
That's the type of confidence that I want to have, or that comfort that I want to have. You know, because and that was another question that I kind of wanted to ask is, for you, when you first bought that machine, did you first need to learn the skills before you made that investment, or did you say, you know what, I'm going to buy it, but that pressure is going to be, you know, what's going to force me to learn?
No, I had studied it before.
Okay.
Yeah, I had studied it for 4 or 5 months.
Okay.
Yeah, I had watched so many videos, contacted people, just asked questions, write down notes.
So it wasn't just like a blind purchase.
No.
That's
I had
good.
to make sure I was going. I knew I had to like know what I was getting myself into, you know, because things like these aren't cheap, you know.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
I can't just buy a machine that I worked so hard for and
not use it.
Yeah, and I don't have a rich family, you know. I don't have where I could just restart or go from one thing to the next. So,
or even ask them for money, right?
Exactly,
or
exactly.
A seed investment.
Yeah, so I had to really, and I knew I wanted to do this, you know. It was just taking that yes of like, okay, I'm gonna really focus on this and make this my job, you know. But yeah.
So that was always interesting to me, because this right here, this computer, this was the first investment that I made for the podcast itself and for all of the editing.
Yeah.
So I know that feeling when you walk out of that store and you're like,
dude, I just
holy crap, you know, like this has got to happen now, you know, and it actually motivates you more. I feel like you get more motivation out of it, because when you look around, especially on social media, you can see all the people with the watches and all the clothes and all, you know, the cars and all this, and you're like, that's cool and all.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm more proud of?
Your tools.
That machine, the tools that I got in my house, you know? Like all this right here, these are my babies. And every time I go on Instagram, I'm like, yeah, I could be in Barbados, but nah, man, that's not where I want to be. I want to be learning this stuff. I want to keep working. And that's what kind of grounds me to, you know, keep doing the stuff that I'm doing.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to really be careful what you spend your money on, to be honest. And honestly, that's something that even me, myself, I'm still working on. Because, it's hard. Like, not getting distracted.
Oh, yeah.
Or I don't really like to compare myself, you know, but sometimes you do get in your headspace and you do start to think and start to evaluate other people and evaluate your own life and think, wow, like, you know. But I think you just got to be humble, you know, and think you have something that someone else has and someone wants what you have, you know, like, you're just like that. So,
that's kind of what pushes, I'm guessing, you to keep working on your stuff.
Yeah, for sure. But that's me too, bro. I'd rather invest my money than spend it, you know. Obviously, I spend my money as well. I'm not going to keep my entire money.
Like, no, I saw you, and everyone can see this too with your vlog and going to downtown,
exactly.
You know? Like, and your trip
I like to travel. I love to travel.
Oh, no.
I feel like the difference between having a 9 to 5 was I used to break my back and I would break my mind. So my mind needs like that relaxing time, you know, time away from people, from headspace, from work, from anything, honestly.
Well, I feel you now, because it's like when 2020, I was working McDonald's shifts. Yeah. And I was working from 5 p.m. to closing. My feet would hurt all the time. And now I'm like, I haven't gone into a kitchen, because that was mainly where I'd work. I haven't gone into a kitchen in 2 years.
Exactly.
All because of either the stuff that I'm doing outside of school or the stuff that, you know, that I'm doing in school that allows me to, you know, kind of step back away from work.
Yes, yeah.
Which is, it's beautiful. I like how you put it. I like to break my mind, not my back.
Exactly. I think you just got to work smarter, not harder. It's really that's really just what it is.
So, okay, I want to go back to your initial, goals of, Good Conscious. Did you always say, like, you know what, this is going to be the brand, I'm going to make a brand? Or was it kind of just initially starting out like, I'm going to see how it goes, 6 months? If we don't, I can close shop.
No, ever since I established it, it's always been the same goal. It's always just, bettering it, perfecting your craft and making better craft, make better art, things that people gravitate to and that people can relate to,
Okay.
And
because that's another thing that I'm interested in is seeing, this journey that you've gone on for about just over a year and a half, close to 2 years. If you look back to the first, very first initial parts of where you started kind of cutting clothes, was it always like, geez, I want to make a brand from that first moment? Or was it just like a...
Yeah, well, I always knew there was money on the internet. I feel like it's our generation, and especially 2020, like our generation that kind of grew up like experiencing the internet, and seeing how you can create something and, get people to buy your product or get people to wear your stuff and stuff like that, So I've always known that there's money out there, on your phone, on your tools, I've had friends that have so much other friends, and they know so much people, and they don't think of making anything, and I don't know, they're so satisfied with their life, but that was never me. I just feel like I always had to create something, always wanted something more, something different, so yeah, it's worked.
Okay.
It's worked.
And then, so now that you've, established yourself as a creator, you're fortunate you're being able to, make money and pay your rent off of doing stuff like this.
Yeah.
Do you now find yourself stepping away from being that lone wolf and kind of going into, this community of creators and entrepreneurs? Do you find yourself doing that more often now?
Yeah, I actually, I've been talking to a lot of other creators as well throughout this time. I've been off social media on almost all of my apps for probably like 2 months now. Just trying to focus on something else that I'm working on right now. But sorry, I kind of got distracted. What was the question, bro?
So it was now that you've established yourself as this creator,
putting myself
right?
out there more, with other creators.
Have you found yourself in a community of other creators?
Yeah. But it's crazy because I'm in quite different industries. So I do like clothing industry.
That's the one.
And then I'll do like YouTube industry. And there's like some sort of community on there. And then and then there's content, that I do. So it just really depends. But I definitely have been talking to a lot of other creators out there in different states, because I don't relate to a lot of people here in my own state, I feel like, and the things that I do. So I definitely have been having a lot of conversations with other people here and there, even outside of this country.
Really?
Which is cool and crazy. Yeah.
And that's what I find,
we relate really well.
Like I'm saying,
I like that.
Like, especially since I'm more familiar with the YouTube side of things, and you know, now getting into podcasts, a lot of the big creators, a lot of the big, content is coming out of different states.
Exactly, yeah.
But I still feel there's this little niche pocket of, and that's another reason why I wanted to, get people like you out here, because you guys are doing this for the craft. You started it for the craft. You didn't move to California. You didn't move to New York to,
to start,
be the big top dog. You started where you are, and even though it's not a big central hub, it's what you love. Yeah. And that's why you're still doing what you're doing.
That's crazy that you bring that up, bro, because I was actually supposed to move out to Cali this year. Like instead of moving out to an apartment out here in Colorado, I was actually just supposed to just say fuck it and move out there to Cali. But that what you just said actually made me stay a little bit longer, because I just felt like, there's no need to rush somewhere where I could just simply do what I do here, where I am, wherever I am in the world. It don't matter.
And especially how connected we are through the internet. Like,
yeah, you can be anywhere.
You can work with someone remotely.
Exactly.
Across the globe, like what you were saying. You can have conversations with someone across the globe. And so it actually works, I think, if you really want to, like, I don't know. For me personally, I think I really want to start here where there's not a lot of people doing it, and kind of exploit the creative potential that's here in Colorado.
Yeah, I take pride in that, honestly, because I feel like everyone thinks they have to move to a different place to start something or to just like see a different side of their success. But the way I think is, I feel like if people gravitate towards you, they're going to gravitate to you no matter what.
Yeah.
And I've had so many people, reach out to me here in Colorado. I became friends with a lot of other designers, creators, and simply even people who buy stuff from me. I like to be active on my social media here and there, and I love the fact that I'm still here in Colorado and what I did worked, and I don't have to prove myself 21 or anything. And I feel like now if I were to move to Cali, or when I do want to make that decision to go out there to another city, then I feel like it'll only go up,
Yeah, you'll only be more ready.
It'll only be more better for me. So I'm definitely just trying to enjoy my family here for the last year that I'm in Colorado and see what happens after that.
That's freaking awesome. Hell yeah. So I think this may be the last question. Can you believe it? We've been talking for 41 minutes.
It doesn't seem like it, but
right?
Yeah.
So let me just look at So now looking back in your 2-year journey, what would you say is the most favorite memory, your favorite experience out of this whole journey? And it's okay if you got to take some time, because I know there's a lot.
I think I know. I say with clothing, I could say probably like the pop-up shops that I've been invited to, where I can actually connect with the person physically, and they can feel my quality, the stuff I put out and stuff like that. I'm actually going to have a whole set of new quality for my brand coming, so I'm very excited for people to see that as well. And but I think the pop-up shops and being in public spaces where you get to see everyone else,
you get to see the consumer,
and the reaction of people when they hear that you make clothes and they see your art. I think that's what I enjoy the most. That's for sure.
So then now with that, you now for a year and a half being able to be no 9 to 5, would you say your time is the most valuable thing that you have out of everything that you own?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I feel like now that I have more freedom, I get so much more done, and I actually can focus on the things I want to do. I feel like when I was working in 9 to 5, as soon as you clock in, you forget about what you really want to do. Honestly, I remember going into work, and as soon as I clocked in, it was just what I was doing there, and you have so much different tasks in 9 to 5, so you have no time and space to think for yourself. So I love what I do. So
hell yeah,
I can't wait to see what else is next.
No, and I'm really happy for you and then all the other creators that are similar to you, because there's always this vision that kind of I want to see myself in you guys, right?
Yeah.
Because you guys are the ones that are out there kind of exploring the wilderness, because I don't know what it's like to have that pressure of my bills need to be paid every month off of my art,
having to put something out all the time and stuff.
But I really, you guys are like my superheroes, and that's what I've been seeing now. But after I've started all of this, I'm like,
honestly, bro, I just want to give you a shout out for inviting me. You really, it seems like you've been doing this for a long time, so I feel like just by you doing that and being confident in how you're doing this also made me feel welcomed and calm, and I enjoyed the conversation, bro, and I definitely learned a couple new things from you. Hopefully you had the chance to take something from me.
Most definitely.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm gonna keep learning from you, because obviously we're still connected through Instagram.
For sure, bro. And there's a lot of things that I'm gonna be coming out with.
So
definitely have to
with
stay
that,
tuned. Yeah.
these last. Just like, have you seen the show, The Hot Ones? You know that last section. You know, what do you have to shout out? This is your, this is your moment. Any new projects? Anything's coming up that you want to highlight?
I'm actually. I have stopped doing embroidery for now.
Okay.
I'm moving on to something much more crazy, but I can't wait to. I can't talk too much about it right now because it just, I'm still working on it. But yeah, I can't wait for you guys to see. I did want to come on here and say, if you just want to, this is for anyone out there, if anyone's watching, listening, I just want to give someone some advice. If you want to do something, if you think of an idea, just write it down right away. Don't lose that. If the idea doesn't go in your mind, it goes to someone else. So, take advantage of the ideas and what you really want to do. And I hope everyone finds their purpose. I hope everyone finds peace. And we all deserve it, bro.
Yeah. And I'll obviously link all of your channels, your Instagram, your Facebook.
Let's promote the fuck out of this video, bro. I'm gonna post it on everything.
Hell yeah.
Twitter, Instagram, everywhere.
Yes.
So
yes.
Let's get this to some views if anyone's watching, listening.
Yes.
Shout out to you if you got this far.
Yeah. And I've been seeing on my analytics, there's about a watch time of like 30 minutes for each video, and each video runs for an hour. Yeah. So that's quite a lot of time for people to sit down and actually listen to. So I already know a couple people that are gonna sit down and watch this through the end, because
my mom is gonna watch this, and honestly, with her just watching, it'll probably be enough.
Oh yeah, but so with that, I'm gonna obviously post this Sunday, right?
Mm-hmm. All right.
And then I'm gonna start working on my narrative aspect of this, because I really want to connect this, and I'll let you into what I'm trying to do. Punk rock and punk, history.
Okay.
The movement in the 1970s, 1980s. It was people were coming out with torn T-shirts, like just greasy people looking, outright from the norm. In 1970s, 1980s was when, everyone had to be in this nuclear family. But I want to connect it to how, small business owners like you is where you guys are doing what you love for the sake of doing it. And obviously the money comes after, but, you started with, basically you just doing what you wanted to do. And a lot of the same mentality of, punk back then was just, if you believe in it, I'm going to do it. I don't care what everyone else says. I don't care if I need a 9 to 5. I'm going to keep doing it until, I'm going to just punk it out and rock it out. Yeah. So I think that's the most,
Well, I like that.
It's freaking awesome cool. How all of you guys are, I know a lot of other, creators that are also...
Yeah, shout out to all the creators here in Denver, Colorado. Yes. Shout out you if you're making clothes, making videos, making whatever you do. Shout out you. And I wish everyone the best of luck. So, yeah.
No, thank you. And yeah, I think we can end it. So I'll stop the recording.